Welcome to psychometric.com. Today we will look at psychometric tests for ADIA. ADIA, which stands for Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, is one of the world's leading sovereign wealth funds and manages capital from the government of Abu Dhabi with an international and long-term strategy. They use psychometric tests in their selection process because they need to objectively assess if candidates have the analytical ability, numerical reasoning, verbal comprehension, logic, attention to detail, and decision-making skills necessary to work in a highly demanding financial environment. These tests help the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority screen international profiles and verify not only the candidate's experience, but also how they think, solve problems, and act under pressure. So, what do the psychometric tests for ADIA consist of? These tests usually vary by position, but the most typical ones are numerical reasoning, verbal reasoning, and logical reasoning tests. As I said, it can vary by position, but the most typical ones are the ones I mentioned. How can you pass and get a better score on these tests? Obviously, by working with the test beforehand. It is not the same to face a test for the first time as it is having prepared it previously and learning tips and tricks to perform better on them. You can find all of this in our course, the link for which I have left in the video description, where you can access tips and tricks, PDF tests, online tests, and this will allow you to get a good grade on these tests. Now we are going to look at 3 example exercises, and I hope they are helpful to you. Calculate the result according to the following table. In this case, we have a table where each letter corresponds to a number. It's a typical coding exercise, where we are given an operation to substitute the letters with numbers to obtain the correct answer. So we see that R corresponds to 5, U corresponds to 7, AC would be 1 and 2, 12, and N, 8. Here we see that here it multiplies, here it adds, and here it subtracts. So we would have to do 35 plus 12 minus 8. That would be 39. So the correct answer would be option B. As you can see, it is a fairly simple exercise. The only thing that can complicate these exercises is time, since we are usually given very little time, and they are designed so that practically no one can solve all of them. So the faster we solve an exercise, the better. Let us move on to exercise number 2. Which option corresponds to the given figure? In this case, they give us a figure and 4 answer choices that are flipped, and we have to find which is exactly the same as the reference figure. The easiest way here is to rule them out as quickly as we can. For example, option B is obviously not it, because it is missing what would be an arm here. So option B is out. Option D, we see here it also has a gap, when in the reference figure there is no gap here. So option D is out as well. Now we just have to rule out option A or option C. Option A, at first glance, cannot be ruled out because you cannot see much, but what we do see does not seem easy to rule out. And option C, if we look closely, can be ruled out, since it has an internal square that is rectangular when it should be square. So option C would also be ruled out. The correct answer would be option A. As you can see, this is also a very simple exercise that anyone could solve if given 5 minutes. But as I said, in these exercises, we are given very little time and we have to work very quickly. Let's move to exercise 3. Find the value of the unknown. In this case, we are given a system of equations and asked to find the value of the black circle. So we must use different methods to find the value of the different shapes to reach the value of the circle. Here, for example, we see that triangle times triangle equals 25, so obviously the triangle will be equal to 5, since 5 times 5 is 25, so we already have the value of the triangle. Now, to find the value of the circle, we need the value of the square, so if we substitute the triangle, which equals 5 times x equals 5, what number would that be then? Square equals 1. So 3 times 1, the circle equals 3. The same, again, a fairly simple exercise. There may be exams where you find exercises of this type that are very simple. They will also make them harder, some that will seem difficult and are easy, and others that will seem easy and will be difficult. And there they will see our ability to make decisions, our ability to work under pressure. All of that is a way to measure it. Moving on to exercise number 4. Determine the letter that continues the series. In this case, we are given H, J, M, Q, and we are given 4 possible answer options. Here, if you have previously worked on these types of exercises, you know that the answer is usually obtained based on the position the different letters have in the alphabet. Other times it is not like this, and they are usually lateral thinking exercises where, for example, the answer is that they are all vowels, or they are all consonants, or etc. In this case, to make it easier for us, and since it is the first exercise of this type we are doing, I am going to put the alphabet below. This way, for those of you who are beginners, it will be easier to see. So if, for example, we have the letter H here, we see there is a gap, H and J in between, then there is the M, then the Q. If we look closely, here we have a 1-letter gap, 2 gaps, 3 gaps, so now it would be 4 gaps, which would jump to here. So the correct answer would be the option, the V, option D. For those of you who already have practice and have done exercises of this type before, you will have found this very simple. For those who have never done exercises of this type, you may not have even been able to solve it. So, I recommend that you sign up for the course to do many exercises of this type and improve your performance. Let's move on to exercise number 5. How many cubes are in the figure? Here in this case, what is usually done is to go to the response options and see if there are any options that are ridiculous. Imagine there were 80, 90, or 100 here. Then you can skip a few and try to solve it. Here, as we see that they are all very similar, we have no choice but to count the cubes. How do we do it without getting lost? By floors. That is, first count those on the ground floor, then the first floor, second floor, and so on. And never lose track, write it down, because the problem with these exercises is trying to do them from memory without writing anything down and losing your place. Then we waste a lot of time and so on. So you would have to count, for example, the bottom part. It would be, here there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bottom floor 9. On the floor above there are 4. On this one there are 5, and here there is one more above, 1. Which would be 9 plus 4 plus 5 plus 1. If we add them up, it is 19. So this would be option A, 19. As you can see, as I have said, these exercises are very simple, but when you are in the exam, you will be much more nervous, have much less time, and you have to work very quickly. Let's move on to exercise number 6. Choose the word that has a meaning most opposite to the word candid. In other words, we have to find the antonym of the word candid. This exercise is also very simple. You just need to have an advanced level of English. This can be a problem, especially for foreign applicants, but anyway. In English, candid is an adjective that means being honest, direct, frank, or expressing yourself without filters. The opposite of someone who is completely open and frank is someone reserved, cautious, or who is very careful about what they say so as not to reveal their intentions. And in this case then, it would be option B, guarded, which has the most opposite meaning to candid. And as I said, this is usually more problematic for those foreign applicants or those who do not have a native level of English. Let's move on to exercise number 7. Determine the figure that results from applying the following commands. In this case, we are given a figure and some commands that we must apply to it to see how it would look. I will place the reference image here to apply the movement so it is easier to see. We are first asked to flip it horizontally, that is, this way it would look like this. It is as if we have a mirror here and you lift it and place it here. So it looks like this. Now once we have the image positioned this way, they ask us for the same, but vertically, which would be the same, like placing a mirror underneath and flipping it down, resulting in this. And now we are told to rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise. That is in this direction, 90 degrees, leaving it positioned this way. The correct answer would be option B. Here, to solve it more easily and to be quicker, I recommend choosing a part that is easy to use as a reference. It could be this area here or this area here on the neck, so to speak. That way, when making the turns, we would just have to point out where those parts ended up. For example, this part, if we flip it horizontally, what would remain? Here it would remain, this part here would remain here. Then, if we flip it vertically, it would remain in the part. Also this part here and here the neck part. Then if we rotate it, ending up like this, ending up this way. It is taking references and trying to go as fast as possible. We move on to exercise number 8. Jacob, a successful businessman, wants to sell 40% of his shares on the stock market. If he wants to earn $2 million from the sale, what is the total value of his shares? Here they are telling us that 40% of his shares is 2 million, and they are asking for the total, so it would simply be a rule of 3. That is, if 2 million is 40%, how many millions is 100%? So we have to multiply 100 by 2 and divide it by 40. And if we do this operation, we see how the answer to this would be option C, 5. As you can see, these are very simple exercises. We just have to be quick and not waste time. Let's move on to exercise number 9. What deck option fits the model? In this case, we are given a reference mesh and 4 response options. In this case, we need to know how these types of exercises work, because if we don't know until we see how it works and what the statement asks of us, we can lose some very valuable minutes. Here, each black dot fits into the white dots of the reference image. If any black dot of the answer option does not fit into the reference image, it would be an incorrect answer option. All black dots must fit into the white dots, and for that, the answer options can be rotated however we want. I am going to rotate them visually so that those who have never done this exercise can understand it more easily. First of all, to see how we can fit this, for example, this grid, we have to look for references here to see how we rotate it so that it can fit. In this case, it is obvious that we should use these 2 black dots in this corner as a reference, this one and this one. I mean, these 2 black dots either go here, or they go here or here. They cannot go anywhere else. That is to say, for example, we would have to fit it here, and we see how this black dot does not fit anywhere. All the others do fit, but this black dot does not fit. We could try rotating it and placing it down here to see if it fits, and we see, for example, that this dot here does not fit on a white dot, and neither does this one, for example. So, this answer option would be incorrect. Obviously, on the exam day, we won't have the ability to do this, so you'll have to make references and eliminate options yourself. How do we do this? Well, here, for example, we know that this black dot and this black dot would be this point and this point. Then, this black dot would be this black dot. This black dot would be this black dot. And this one here, we see it has one on top, so it would already be incorrect. Now, for example, option B. What reference do we take to make it easier to solve? For example, here it's clear. These 2 black circles here have to be these 2 here no matter what, because if not, there would be no way to fit it anywhere on the grid. And so if we do it the way it should be done on the exam, it would be like this circle, and this circle would be this one, and this one would be this one, this black circle would be this one, this black circle would be this one right here. This black circle would be this one here, and then this black circle would be this one. We see it is below the 2 black circles here, taking it as a reference, and this one here would be this one here, which we see is parallel to this one here. Do you see how this one here is parallel? Then option B would be the correct answer. If you want, we can check it now. We take this grid, rotate it 180 degrees, and see that if we place it on top, all the black dots fit perfectly into the white part, so the correct answer, as we said, is option B. I already told you that you obviously cannot move and place it like this during the exam. You have to take references and start ruling things out. Here, for example, option C, obviously, you have to take these 3 points as a reference. It has to be these 3 points here, no matter what. Then these 2 would be these 2, this one would be this one. And we can see, for example, how this black point here is missing. It should go here, and it is not here. So this one would be incorrect. And option D is the same. You can also check it. This exercise is also simple, but it's true that it requires time. And it's true that in moments of stress, you can get a bit confused, lose track, and in the end, waste a lot of time and get a bad grade on the exam. Let's move on to exercise number 10. Select the correct sequence of switches according to the model. This exercise would also be about coding. They give us a series of switches with a color and tell us that it is coded with these drawings here. They give us some answer options. We have to see which one it codes to. We see it as a green one, so it has to be this one here. The top part up here has to be with this drawing. For example, option A is already ruled out because it has a mouth pointing that way and this one is pointing the other way. Option A is out. Option B could be it, option C could be it, and option D cannot be it either because the first mouth does match. But the second one, if we look closely, points down and this one points up, so option D is also ruled out. And now we have to check if the correct option is B or C. What would yellow be like? We see that here this drawing would go, one mouth facing down and the other up. We see how B has the mouth facing down and this one up, and here option C has 2 facing up, so this one would be incorrect. So That's it. The correct answer would be option B. These are very simple exercises, and if you've practiced them before, you see them quickly because you know how it works. So, if you come across an exercise like this in the exam, you already know how it works, and you're going to solve it very quickly. But a person who has never seen it has to understand that this means you need to code, that red is this, that green is this, and that you have to look for the answer option and such. This is simple, but of course, you lose a minute or two understanding the exercise, and if you repeat this many times, you fail the exam, or at least you won't be among the people who get the best grades. And nowadays, for many jobs, the differences are minimal. Let's move on to exercise number 11. Complete the puzzle with the correct pieces. In this case, we are given a puzzle that has 2 empty spaces, and we have to find which 2 puzzle pieces from the answer options fit in here. This is also very simple. Anyone who has had a puzzle at home will have played this without even trying, just by seeing and finding which piece fits here, which piece fits here, and which one is from the answer options. For example, option A, we can see how this piece fits perfectly here. This part here, if we move it, it also fits. This kind of ear would go here, this kind of ear would go here, and this gap would go here. Well then, that's it. We would have finished the whole exercise. The correct answer would be option A. In the exam, I would quickly move on to the next exercise, and that's it. Here, if you want, we can check the mistakes. Here, for example, option C could not fit in any way, because this ear would go here, this one would go here. But it doesn't fit either because it's too far. This piece wouldn't fit in any way. Option C is out. Option B, this option could fit, but if we move it 90 degrees this way, which is how it should fit by the puzzle's ears, we see how the mouth would go here, and it's placed to the left in the reference drawing, so B would not fit either, and option D the same. It could not fit in any way. If we take this mouth here and place it here, then these ears attached here cannot go anywhere, so that would also be incorrect. What you see are coding exercises, attention to detail, and working very quickly. We move on to exercise number 12. Determine the element that continues the series. In this case, they give us a series of numbers and letters, and we have to guess which one is next. Here, as I told you, normally, not always, letters often use the logic of position in the alphabet, and numbers as well according to the alphabet. It would be 6, 8, 10, 12 following a logic. But not always. There are times, usually the most complicated ones, break that pattern and tend to be lateral thinking exercises. And in this case, I tell you that this exercise is more difficult, as it is not the type of exercise you solve quickly. Here, if you want, you can pause the exercise and try to solve it yourselves. If we look here, we have an S, this would be 6. It also starts with S and F occupies the 6th position in the alphabet. Here it would be 8, the initial of the number, and the H occupies the 8th position. See? You have already found the pattern. Here it is 9, 9, so we have to find out which letter of the alphabet is in the 9th position. In this case, it would be the letter I, option D. As you can see, this type of exercise is more complicated, but if you have practiced a lot and have a lot of practice, you can solve it perfectly, even in a very short time. But if you have never seen it or done exercises of this type, it can get quite complicated. And well, we have reached the end. Just to remind you, as I mentioned at the beginning, we have a course with many more tests like this one, with online exercises and in PDF, a section of tips and tricks that will help you greatly improve your performance and secure your position at work. I hope the video has helped you, and as I said, we look forward to seeing you in the course. Best regards.